Good evening. Today I want to talk to you about a DVD that I rented recently. I rented the summer blockbuster called Battleship. That's right, the movie that's named after the board game, which, who knows, may spawn a new line of board game themed movies. Can't you just see, Monopoly the movie, or even yet, Hungry Hungry Hippo. Dun, 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 dun. Okay, never mind. Anyway, Battleship, that's what we're talking about today. And the movie starts out pretty quietly. It has this first 20 minutes of getting to know the characters, which, to be quite honest, they could have gotten rid of, because this is one of those movies where all you want to do is see the big ship go boom and, shoot at stuff, explosions, people running around going, ah! Okay? Really. It's a good little action flick. Now, it's not a great movie. It's not a horrible movie. It's right in the middle. Let me put it to you this way. It's better than Transformers, okay? Even though it's been compared in a lot of ways to that, the movie, especially the action scenes, are very similar to the Transformers franchise. But this is better. Not a lot better, but a little bit better. Okay, let me give you a quick premise. We send out this signal to contact aliens who are from this planet and sun solar system similar to ours. It's only 7 light years away, which of course there isn't any that close, but you just need to suspend that for disbelief. And then they show up. Now, the movie sort of puts forth that this, of course, is a bad idea to send signals out into space because, aliens may show up, and they compare it at least 3 times in the movie to the colonization of what's now the United States, where the American Indians, who would be us, are totally conquered by the more technologically advanced colonists. Okay, I could kind of see that danger. However, if the alien inhabited planet is as close as they portray it in the movie, they should have been receiving our TV and radio signals for the past 50 years. So they should already know we're here. So that little bit sort of throws it off, but I can kind of understand the general principle. However, as I'll mention in a moment, this may be a horrible story of first contact gone wrong, leading to an interstellar war. But more about that in a moment. Like I said, they have the opening 20 minutes, which they could have done without. It's there to try, to get us to care about the main characters. It really doesn't help. I still don't care about the main characters. Basically, and I'm not even going to bother, with the actors' names for most of them. You know who they are. You got the protagonist guy, the young, super intelligent guy who has no direction, who's a womanizer, and basically a jerk. You've got his older, clean-cut Navy dude brother who forces the younger brother into the Navy. They both end up as destroyer, in command of a destroyer. And there's this big, giant naval exercise, multinational exercise. And then the aliens show up. Now, there's also this subplot about the protagonist's girlfriend, who happens to be the daughter of the admiral, little mini love story. They don't play a whole lot into that, just a little bit, but it's not really too much. But that subplot is that she happens to be a physical therapist who works with disabled veterans, and we have this disabled Army veteran who's back from Afghanistan, and he's lost both his legs, and he's trying to recover his dignity and self-worth as a man. And then you've got the crazy scientist who really is only there for to beat you over the head with the premise and to have a little bit of slapstick humor involved. Interestingly enough, this B subplot about the army guy with no legs and the physical therapist's girlfriend is actually more interesting as far as a storyline than any of the relationships of the main characters. So, what do you say? And of course, it was interesting. Of course, they had to have an army guy in here to sort of give some of the other branches of service, some equal time, because this is pretty much a Navy movie, okay? This is like, Navy recruiting material type movie. Ooh, look, we've got cool stuff in the Navy. Please come and join. And you know what? I'm okay with that. It's pretty cool. The ships are nice. And, it's really, pro-Navy. And so they have the one Army guy. Interestingly, there's no Air Force in this movie. And they don't mention the Marines, which is also kind of unusual considering their close affinity with the Navy. Well, except for like when the Navy/Marine base gets destroyed on Hawaii by the big buzzsaw robots, but that's a whole nother story. Anyway, the aliens show up, and they have their big ship that breaks into 5 smaller ships, tries to come into Earth for a landing. One of their ships hits one of our orbital satellites and just about blows up. And I'm thinking, boy, what crappy alien technology if one of our little bitty satellites hits your big interstellar spaceship and it totally crashes into Hong Kong. And of course, the other strange premise about this is that the ship that got destroyed was the aliens' communications ship that they needed to phone home. And so one of the plot drivers for the aliens is that they're trying to capture the communications array on Oahu, Hawaii, so they can, beam back a signal back to the home planet. My thought is, alien guys, don't you have redundant technology? I can't believe you put all your communications on one ship just so it could get destroyed. I mean, we'd never do that. We've got like redundant systems for everything, unlike our ships. But anyway, okay, maybe they're not so bright, aliens. So then the aliens land, other 4 ships land in the ocean, a big ship and 3 smaller alien ships. And the Navy fleet on their exercises sends these 3 destroyers to go check it out. They send out a little patrol boat, and he goes out and he touches the alien ship, and it activates, and the alien ship sends up a big domed force field, which, covers the entire Hawaii island chain and cuts off the rest of the world from this area. This was good for a plot device because it keeps the rest of the world out, even though they have like 2 or 3 scenes showing what's going on in the outside world, but they might as well just have forgotten it because they're not doing anything, which doesn't make a whole lot of sense. They should have had, tacking it, trying to destroy the barrier, or having more scientists work on bringing down the barrier or something. I mean, if you're going to show what's going on outside, have some like story outside. Otherwise, I think it would have been better if they just skipped the whole outside the barrier at all and just, we can't communicate outside the barrier, so we don't know what the rest of the world's doing to try to help us. They should have just gone with that. It would have been a simpler plot. So then you have the initial encounter with the aliens. And this is what really, really bugs me about the movie, because it's never really clear, even though they mentioned like at least 3 times about this whole thing about the colonization and us, being the Indians and being wiped out. We're not really sure of what the aliens' true motives are. They have one little sequence where one of the aliens touches the main protagonist guy, and he sees this mental connection vision of a planet, and you don't know, but you can't, it's so jumbled you can't tell what it is. Is it the aliens' planet being attacked by other aliens and now they're on the run looking for a new place to live? Is it the aliens themselves conquering another planet and now they're going to conquer our planet? It doesn't really tell you, and you don't know. So we never actually really know what the motivation of these aliens are. And so for all we know, they could have come in peace. But no, we start an interstellar war with them just because they showed up. And let me explain how they happened. In probably one of the worst first contact sequences ever thought of, you have our 3 destroyers, and you have the big alien ship, and then the 3 other alien ships surface, and so, you got the 4th alien ship and our 3 ships. And we're sort of standing there, and we're like, what do we do? And I'm thinking, well, this appears to be obviously some type of first contact sequence, so you'd think we would already have some sort of protocols in place, but apparently not for this situation. The ships, of course, they try to establish radio contact, don't get nothing. Okay, maybe the aliens are using different frequencies, different types of communication devices, so we can't initially communicate that way. So then the ships try light signals and then sounding the horn to try to signal the alien ships. Okay, well, after sounding the horn, one of the alien ships in turn produces a huge sound wave. You know, it does some big thing and shoots out this big sound wave, which to me, watching it, would seem to be, okay, they're responding with a sound, you know, because we blew our horn, they're blowing their horn. Of course, unfortunately, their horn's a lot more powerful, and the sound wave is so powerful it like knocks out the glass, you know, of one of the destroyer command bridge, and he interprets this as a hostile action. And I'm thinking, my gosh, you fool, they're just trying to communicate, and they've taken up a defensive position, and, you know, not initially showing an offensive posture. And so then what do? Then we fire a warning shot across the bow of one of the alien craft. Well, then the aliens take that as a hostile action and just open fire on the destroyer. And of course, blow it all to bits. And then of course, you know, in that encounter ends up, we lose 2 destroyers, and the third one, you know, gets away and captures all that, and then they shoot the big buzzsaw aliens, which you see in the preview, over to the air base on Hawaii and knock out the air base and the highway system. Interestingly, again, the aliens are shown only firing on ships that fire on them or act hostile. They only attack military or infrastructure targets. They, in one scene, the killer robots that just destroyed the air base intentionally stop and do not attack unarmed civilians. In another part of the scene, when the scientist guy is going in to find the frequency modulator to try to communicate with the Navy guys, he's confronted by one of the aliens. He's unarmed. He's just got a briefcase. They let him go. So my whole thing is, the aliens seem to only be acting in self-defense. And apparently we've started an interstellar war over a miscommunication. It sort of reminds me in that whole thing about the Earth-Minbari War in Babylon 5. Remember that, where the Earth people meet the Minbari, and the Minbari, oh, well, let's show them respect by opening our gun ports, because that's a sign of respect in our culture. And then the Earth guys are going, oh my gosh, they're opening their gun ports. Let's just fire. And so they fire, and then the Minbari are like, why are they firing at us? And then, you know, ends up in an interstellar war, and Earth almost gets destroyed until the Minbari just find out that, you know, Minbari can be reincarnated as humans and all that bull stuff that happened in Babylon 5. But it's pretty much a similar story here. We have this first encounter scenario, which after, you know, I watched that segment of the movie, I'm going, oh my gosh, we just started an interstellar war over a misunderstanding. So anyway, the movie goes on, and, you know, they end up destroying the alien spacecraft. Some of the things that was kind of cool, they did do the battleship grid, where because the radar wasn't working, they were able to use sonar beacons that are designed to catch tsunami waves, and so they were able to track the alien ships and shoot at them that way. It was an interesting thing, and it was a good way to get in the battleship grid thing for the movie. But it did make me wonder, how come the alien spaceships just sort of like hopped on the surface of the water? I'm thinking, these are spaceships, why can't they fly? I never could understand that, but they don't. They just sort of hop on the water. I mean, are they not designed to leave the planet as well? I mean, was this a one-way trip? I mean, it just doesn't make any sense. But you just got to suspend all that and just enjoy the explosions and everything. Let's see, what other things that went on that really got me. Oh, the whole thing about the aliens being sensitive to sunlight. Apparently the aliens are somewhat reptile or amphibian, and they have the, you know, the vertical pupil that you often see on certain types of reptiles. And one of our guys, after they capture one of his helmets, realized that their helmets all have a sun visor, you know, which could be useful in outer space. But you're thinking, well, then they must be sensitive to sunlight. And I'm thinking, well, earlier in the movie you established that their sun is similar to our sun and the distance to the planet is same and their planet's almost identical, then why would they have any problems with our sunlight when it should be nearly identical as their home planet? But anyway, it's a convenient plot device that they use to destroy one of the alien ships later. A MacGuffin. So of course, you can figure out what happens. We destroy the 3 alien ships. Our third destroyer gets destroyed, and they have to go back and reactivate the Battleship Missouri. Or is it Missouri? Anyway, one of the battleships that's, a museum ship now in Hawaii's harbor. And they get a bunch of old veterans together, and they, throw some stuff together. And they go out and fight the big final alien ship with the battleship and, win and don't get totally destroyed. And then they knock the energy shield down, and our aircraft carrier launches fighters, and they totally destroy it. And we killed most of all the aliens. And then they had the big Star Wars award ceremony at the end, and everybody's all happy. And the Admiral daughter marries the protagonist. And I'm sitting there thinking, okay, well that's all well and dandy, but you destroyed those 5 alien craft. The alien planet sent 5 craft to our planet. Whether they were coming in hostile or whether they're coming in peace and exploring, they lost contact and their ships didn't return. Now, if I were them, what would you do? You'd send more ships. And so probably, they've got maybe just a year or two before more alien ships arrive. We better be preparing for either interstellar war or begging to correct this misunderstanding before the shooting really starts, but everybody acting like it's over. And I'm going what? But anyway, that aside, it's just a happy ending, feel-good movie. Oh, and of course, they do have the obligatory alien survivor, so there can possibly be a Battleship sequel. I don't know, Battleship 2, you sank my aircraft carrier. I don't know. Anyway. But that's Battleship for you. Again, who knows? Maybe there'll be some more, board game movies coming our way. Maybe like Settlers of Catan. Hey, that would be nice. Ticket to Ride. But I think not. Thank you for listening to me ramble about the Battleship the movie. Until next time, have a great day.